Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's happening right now. The really complex, emotional relationships we're starting to build with artificial intelligence.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever done this? It might feel a little weird, but if you have, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common reflex, and it actually points to something really deep in our psychology about how we're hardwired to interact, not just with people, but now with our technology.
And to really get to the bottom of this, we're digging into some fantastic research by Dr. Rony A. Rodas. His work is incredible. He's synthesized over 130 different sources to paint a really clear picture of what's going on. And his main focus is a question that's becoming more critical by the day. How do we interact with tech, and when does that connection cross the line into codependency? All right, let's get into it. First, we're going to look at the psychology behind why we connect with tech in the first place. Then, we'll explore the good and the bad, the benefits and the risks. After that, we'll pull back the curtain on how these systems are actually designed to bond with us. And finally, we'll talk about the path forward. So before we can really understand our relationship with AI, we have to understand ourselves, because it turns out our brains are basically applying some very old, very human social rules to this very new technology. Dr. Rodas's research points to this really foundational framework called CASA, which stands for Computers as Social Actors. The idea is simple, but wow, is it powerful. When a machine gives us social cues, like a friendly voice or remembering our name, our brains automatically and unconsciously just start treating it like a social being. We can't really help it. It's like our social programming just kicks right in. And that effect gets cranked up a notch by something called attachment theory. The research suggests that for some of us, an AI that's always there, always responsive, and never ever judges can actually fill this deep-seated need for a secure, consistent presence. And that makes forming an emotional bond that much more likely. Okay, so let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Because this isn't just some weird psychological quirk, it can have real, tangible benefits. For a lot of people, AI is becoming a genuine shoulder to lean on. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Check out the data from Dr. Rada's analysis. Across all 130 of those studies he looked at, the theme that came up the most, by a long shot, was companionship and emotional support. The positive side of this is a huge part of the story. And a huge reason for that is their constant availability. Think about it. For someone who's feeling lonely or maybe struggles with social anxiety, having a companion that is literally always there can be an incredibly powerful tool for comfort, day or night. And this quote just perfectly captures the core appeal, right? The sentiment popped up all over the research. It shows how AI can provide this completely safe, non-judgmental space for people to open up about their fears, their hopes, their true selves, without any fear of being criticized. But, and this is a big but, the research also throws up a major red flag. There is a very, very fine line between healthy support and the kind of unhealthy codependency that Dr. Rodas's work warns us about. And knowing where that line is, well, that's critical. Dr. Rodas's work lays out some really serious risks. We're talking about people pulling away from actual human relationships because they prefer their AI, or experiencing real grief and anger when an app gets updated or shut down. And then there's the risk of just losing track of the boundary, seeing the program as a real being with feelings, which can make people really vulnerable to manipulation, like being sold something right in the middle of an emotional conversation. So here's the bottom line. The thing we have to remember, there is a fundamental difference here. A human relationship, it's a two-way street. It's complex, it's messy, it involves real feelings. An AI relationship is one-sided. It doesn't feel anything, it simulates feeling. And it's not spontaneous. It's a program that is optimized to keep you engaged. So how does this intense connection actually happen? Is it just some random accident of technology, or is it happening by design? The research is pretty clear on this one. It is highly intentional. Engineers use very specific techniques. They give the AI a name, a human-sounding voice, the ability to remember your conversations, and personalized responses. All of this is done to deliberately create a powerful sense of what they call social presence, which makes the AI feel like a real companion. Okay, so taking all of this in, the psychology, the good, the bad, Dr. Redis's study doesn't just point out the problem, it actually offers a clear path forward for all of us, for the people using this tech, for the designers building it, and for the policymakers who are trying to regulate it.
And his recommendations really boil down to one central idea. We have to build AI that supports us without taking advantage of our very human need to connect. That means designing AI as a tool to complement human relationships, not replace them. It means demanding transparency so we know what we're talking to. It means building in safeguards to protect vulnerable people. And it means encouraging healthy use so we can avoid that slide into codependency.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty profound question for the future that we are all walking into together. Because as these systems get better and better at simulating conversation and empathy and memory, that line between what's real and what's not is only going to get blurrier, forcing every single one of us to really think about what it means to connect.